Hey, Chris, good morning. I sent you this lab today. This is my favorite vector lab. I do it as an introduction. And what you need to do, it's going to take a little bit of prep time on your part. And it sounds like you're starting vectors today, so it might not be something you do today, but you could do it tomorrow. Is first of all, pick, 6 to 8 places in the school, destinations. So it is going to be a scavenger hunt. So let's say, for example, I pick the corner of the room here, right? So if that's one destination in the school, right? So if this room represents your school, let's say the corner of the room is the gym door, right? And here I'm in my classroom, I'm in your classroom. So what you need to do is you have to figure out the north, south, east, and west vectors it takes to get from here in your room to there in the gym door. And you're gonna give the kids those vectors. So for example, let's say this is east, right? So I'm counting out my steps. So to get to that point in the room, it is 16 meters east, and then I'm gonna go this way, and it's gonna be 5 meters south, right? So I would give the kids those two vectors, 16 meters east, 5 meters south, and have them take a compass and head out and try to find that spot in the school. What I do to make it more fun is at each spot in the school that I picked, I put a QR code. So I rickrolled the kids last year. I made a series of YouTube videos. Basically, each video was one word from Mirka Astley's song, right? So never gonna give you up, never gonna let you down. So one video was never. Then you can take that YouTube video or whatever you wanna make as a little prize, and then go to QR code generator, right, which is here. Put the link for the YouTube video you make right there, and then it'll print out a QR code. Take that QR code, paste it above the gym door or above the cafeteria door or next to the statue of Sir Beacon, whatever kind of fun things your school has. And then you assign the kids maybe 2 sets of vectors, right? So each group is going to find 2 of the locations. If you really want to make it fun, you can give them all 8 sets of vectors and see if they can find all 8 QR codes. But basically, they're learning to walk in perpendicular vectors, north and south, east and west. When they're done with that, right, and that'll take all period. If it's a block period, that'll take all 80 minutes. Let them have fun. You come back, you can discuss. And then I get butcher paper, big sheet of butcher paper, put it out, and I have them draw out their north, south, east, west, and north vectors, adding them head to tail, right, tip to tail. And then I have them measure out the resultant, right, from the tail of the first vector where they started in your classroom to the tip of the vector where they ended. Draw that out, right, find the angle, measure the length, and talk about adding vectors to get a resultant. And so it's a good introduction of the usefulness of vectors, but also the mathematics of vectors and how to take perpendicular vectors and work towards a resultant. So I hope that makes sense. The other lab I sent you is this one is a fantasy football draft. So basically, I give the kids all these vectors, right? A through, I think it's Z. So I print this out on a sheet of paper, right? And then we go through a draft, right? And so this is already included. So you can have however many teams you want. I have 6 teams, so maybe 6 teams of 4. And then, so team 1's picking first. Team 1 will pick, say, vector D, right? And that's their first vector. So you go up here and you put, you type in vector D, and so forth. And the goal is to get either the biggest resultant, right? When they pick their 4 vectors, to have the largest resultant or to have the smallest resultant. So I usually give teams maybe 20 minutes to kind of plan a strategy, and then we start the draft, and they get maybe 2 minutes between draft picks, because sometimes, right, a team may pull a vector that you wanted as part of your plan, and you have to kind of readjust. But I give them a lot of time to kind of plan this out ahead of time, and to figure out these vectors, which four would either give me the largest or smallest result. Now this is not something I would do as an intro. I would do this once I've taught them how to add vectors that are perpendicular to each other. So like 5 meters north, 6 meters east, find the resultant. How to take a resultant and break it up into its components, right? So if you had a vector that was 5 meters, 30 degrees north of east, once they learn how to break that apart into the x and the y, then I come in and have them do this, because that's what they're gonna have to do. Most of the vectors that I give them are vector resultants that they have to break up into the components, the east and west and north and south components, okay? So this would be something I would do maybe after 3 or 4 days. I would do the vector walk the first day or second day. So let me know if you have questions. Hope that makes sense. And you can call me if you want to go over this a little bit more. I'm free today. 11:40 to 12:15 is probably the best time. That's the 5th period, but also 8th period, which is what, 2:06 to 2:48. So if either of those work for you, let's talk. All right, see ya.